a lot of people are also just tired of bullshit in general
Mm-hmm.
as well. Or a lot of people don't want to pretend to be okay when they're not. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's nice to be able to feel validation na, because I'm at the age of making mistakes. I mean, do we ever stop? An issue would come out that I apparently did something like this, but I didn't. Like, where the fuck did that come from?
Mm-hmm.
After that, parang sabi niya, okay lang yan. Parte ng libro ng buhay mo.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's another page in your life's book.
Yeah. I wanted to read back to you lines that you said in an interview. This is an interview with Wonder Mag. And you said, that's what I like. I like being surrounded by people better than me.
Oh yeah.
And this is so powerful to me because I'm of the same belief. But not everyone feels that way. Because,
Yeah.
of course, we're just human. We get jealous or insecure,
Intimidated. Yeah, yeah,
intimidated,
yeah.
etc. But yeah, tell me more about why you believe that you like being surrounded by people better than you. You were referring to your band, of course, and your musician friends here in the interview.
No, but I mean, it goes with everything. It goes with everything. I like to think of myself as like, you know, a sponge. That's really it, honestly. That's why I love SpongeBob, I suppose. But someone, Miss Angeli Bayani of Meisner Acting School, we had this random mini workshop before we started doing senior high.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, she said something about the whole aspect of from 1 to 7, our brain is at this whatever stage in life wherein we pick up everything like a sponge. And then from 7 to 21, it's just going on and going on until by the time you turn 21, your brain is developed and that's it. And that really got me thinking about, it's really interesting how we think, how you can think and see as of your brain as brain as a sponge. And I thought about it and parang yeah, honestly I like that. Parang it goes back to the whole concept of adapting, right? Um, whatever situation environment it is that you're in, you as a human being will naturally try to adapt to that
Mm-hmm.
situation. And for me, I love learning. I love seeing people doing something that they excel in. It's amazing to
Mm,
see. It's magical to see.
super.
Whatever it is that they're doing. Right? Whether they be a photographer, whether they be kung ano mong industry, mapa-corporate pa yan, or kahit ano. Once you see someone being so good and so passionate about the skill that they've excelled in, it's fascinating to
Mm-hmm.
watch. And I love surrounding myself with these people because I'm always that guy that asks questions. I feel like sometimes a lot of people just get annoyed with Juan Carlos na kasi I'm just like, so, so, ano yung ginawa mo dito sa ano? Like, so, ano po ito ditong ano? So, ano yung ginawa mo dun sa ganito? Because I love that. I
Mm,
love observing people and I love looking at how, like, the process that you
yeah.
do and what it is you do. I want to know how you got there, right? I want to know why you got there. And it's also nice to know what got you there. And I love that. And I also love learning about, hey, so what were your mistakes?
Mm,
Oh, okay. Let me try to avoid that.
yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice, and I feel like I try to give back whatever I can as well. And that's why for me conversations like these are really important. And so going back to the whole thing of like surrounding myself with people that are better than me. In that interview, I specifically mentioned my band because I want to be the weakest link because at least I know what I'm capable of.
Mm,
And if you're the ceiling, let me be the floor. Because at least alam kong wala nang ibababa pa sa kung ano yung pinakamababaw kong kakayanan. May
That's
sense. May
beautiful.
sense may sinasabi ko. But you know what I mean? Like, at
Mm-hmm.
least I know where, kung hanggang saan tayo. With musicians that I work with, and even now at senior high, all of these mga veteranong aktor na aking nakakatrabaho. Holy shit. So good. And we do a scene and I'm just observing at the same time. There's a huge part of me that is just watching them actually act so well, and I'm like, what the fuck? How are
Yeah.
you doing this? How are
Yeah.
you doing that? And then after a cut, then balik na kami dun sa standby area. So like how do you do this? Right? It's like, so how
Yeah.
do you do that? How
Yeah.
what how do you get there? And
Yeah.
I love learning that. I just love working with people that are better than me because they have so many, first of all, they have so many stories to tell. They have so many skills to share.
Mm-hmm.
People love sharing knowledge. That's actually one thing I really noticed. Kasi aside from music and acting, I also have a business. It's based in Pampanga.
Mm-hmm.
It's a technology company.
Yes,
We
it's the
s-
one on your bio
yeah,
on
we established that
Instagram.
back in 2021. And the corporate world, well, it's not really corporate yet. It's not there yet. It's a startup. It's cute. But the whole business world, it's its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always found myself being in a room surrounded by all of these business execs and people that have so much know-how. I would be here sitting down with my hoodie or shirt and jeans and slippers, and someone would come in with an expensive suit and tie, and I'm like, whoa. And it's intimidating, yes, but once you get to the core of it, people love sharing knowledge.
Mm.
The only thing is, people are afraid to ask. So, yeah, yung nakita ko. Ashton Kutcher, actually, may sinabi siyang ganun si Ashton Kutcher. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't be afraid to be the stupid one in the room.
I mean, I ask this specifically because it's something I feel strongly about. I think many, many years ago, less now,
Yeah.
that colleagues are pit against each other, that they're compared, that
Yeah.
there's still a little bit now. But
Yeah.
for me, I personally love being surrounded by brilliant people because you get so inspired. It's like,
Yes.
that's insane. Like, I interview as a career, but when I get to see the likes of Karen Davila do an interview, Corina Sanchez, Boy Abunda, it's like, I'm so fascinated. What's their follow-up question? What's their no? And I guess that would be the same
Diba?
for you with musicians and actors that you get to work with.
Yeah. And isn't it magical?
It's super magical.
Isn't it so fascinating to see how they operate? Like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
did you come up with that? Ooh, what a nice follow-up question. Oh,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then it shifts your perspective, right?
It does. And even like, this is not like specific industry based. So, like I mentioned, my husband was a former professional athlete. And even in that field, it's like, kung sila lang naglaro dito sa Pilipinas, no one would get better. But it's
Yeah.
when they joined leagues abroad that you're like, oh shoot, akala ko magaling na ako, yung
Yeah.
pala bano kami. It's
Yeah.
like you have to expose yourself to people better than you so that you can get better and that you can realize, pwede pala yun.
Yeah, you really have to seek discomfort. You really have to. It's really something that will get you places, right? A lot of us just always um dwell into the fear and the thought of something, but kumaga, even with a story of like all of these companies and brands that are so successful, like Nike, that's the reason why their motto is just do it, because they just did. I mean, and it's that whole concept, that motto, what do you call that, a motto, not motto, like
A tagline.
a tagline.
Yeah.
That tagline is really powerful.
Yeah.
Just do it. Parang, yeah. I feel like sometimes we just always we're so caught up in just thinking and thinking and thinking. And, alam mo yun,
Mm. Yeah. You mentioned it. You mentioned senior high, and I did want to ask you about that. I
Yeah.
don't agree that it's just the veteran actors that are brilliant on that cast. Just earlier, I was telling Angelo as well as my producer Elijah. I think that soap series is like the best casting. And I'm talking about not just the veterans, but
Mm-mm.
your generation. I mean,
Yeah.
seeing you, Kyle, Blythe,
Oh, they're
Elijah,
so good as well. Yeah, they're so good
all
as
of you
well.
are good. It's like, I keep on saying, ang galing ni Sir Deo at ng Dreamscape to like think of putting all of you together. Zijan, Cyril, it's
Oh
like
my god, yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I don't know how they come
And
up with it.
you get along in real life.
Yeah, yeah, we do. I mean, we literally, I just literally called Kyle before I got into the room kasi,
Oh, the phone call
yeah, that
earlier?
was Kyle.
Okay, so yeah, because
Nangungumusta.
you did like you went to Davao recently and you're all together and it just seems like you guys really click and I feel like maybe it's that shared passion for your craft as well
Yeah,
that
no, I know what you mean. Like Zamboanga. Sorry, we went to Zamboanga for senior
Zamboanga.
high. I went to Davao for a show, but it's nice because we're put in this environment that where we're able to make each other feel safe, and we were able to create this environment of like, hey, you're fine here. No one will judge you. And I feel like that's one of the main reasons why we really got close in real life because a lot with the work that we do, a lot of instances you have work friends,
Mm,
right? Like
mm-hmm.
we're friends because we work together and that's
Yeah.
it. But out of work, we don't really hang out, we don't really talk this and that. But like with us, not at all. Like oh my god, like kulang na nga lang magjowa kami ni Kyle siya ni Elijah. Kulang na lang, promise. As in halos every night, sangka, nakauwi ka na ba? Where are you? Tara, di ba? Ba't di ka nag-reply? Well, nakakatawa kasi si Elijah nagtampo kasi nung nasa Davao ako nung Friday, na-reply ko si Kyle sa Instagram, tapos nag-message siya sa akin, tapos di
Oh.
ko siya na-reply sa message. Kasi sa message
Yeah.
ko punong-puno na, Instagram, like, I have to post on Reels, ganyan-ganyan.
Mm-hmm.
So, nakikita ko hindi yun, so doon nag-message. So, nag-reply ko kay Kyle. Tapos magkasama
Yeah.
pala sila. Tapos nagtampo si Elijah, parang, ganyan ka. Di ka nag-reply sa akin. But it's
Yan.
okay, I love you still. So para kaming magjowa, kaming
That's
tatlo.
so cute.
And it's honestly the best. It's honestly the best to be able to work with these people that I'm confident to be able to call my best friends. They're my brothers. And ayun nga, like with earlier, definitely it's not just the veterano actor. That one kasi is more of like especially the experience and all of these things
Yeah.
that they were able to pick up in life. Right? Like
Yeah.
going back to the whole concept with what I said earlier na a long path
Mm-hmm.
with picking up all of these random stuff. These people, the veterans, they basically have bouquets
Right.
with them already,
Yeah.
right? So, but at the same time, like, I think Cyril, Zija, and Miggy, and these they're so good. They're so good. They're so good. And I'm also like, wow, that's so amazing. So even them, I ask. I don't really choose the people to ask. I mean, kasi I never really said I love working with people that are older than me.
That's such a great lesson to look at people around you and instead of feeling, ay, buti pa siya. It's more of like, wow, tinan mo siya and
Tignan mo, di
learn
ba?
from that.
Like,
Yeah.
fucking good for you. How did you do that? You know, I want
Yeah.
some of that as well. You know what I
Anong
mean?
kinakain mo?
Di ba? Ano kinakain mo? Kasi gusto ko rin yan. Di
Yeah.
ba?
Yeah.
So, wala. I feel like it's really a lot of things in life, you know, especially if you try to keep in mind that everything has its pros and cons. Everything has its nice and bad, sweet and sour. Like it's all about perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I
Mm-hmm.
guess it's about how you really choose to see things. Because I feel like as humans, that's what we have. We have the freedom of choice, at the very least. I mean, as individuals, at least. So yeah, it's all about choosing what kind of mindset that you want to have, right?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
kind of perspective you want to have in life. If you choose to feel jealousy over somebody else's success, then that's the choice you made.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you chose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of perspectives and mindsets, that's actually why I love doing Paano Ba To? Because when it started, it was more of like, someone will write a letter, I'll find someone who went through a similar problem to give advice. And it was this is the advice for your problem. But now I guess it has evolved to offering perspectives, offering different perspectives, offering possible mindsets for you to adapt. We're not saying that you should agree 100% with what
Yeah.
JK is saying. It's
Yeah,
more of
yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, that's another way to look at things. And then
Exactly, exactly.
eventually decide on your own what you'll do with the challenges you are handed.
Yeah. I always love going back to the whole concept of like us just walking down this long winding road with like beautiful flowers surrounding us, and each
Mm-hmm.
flower has its corresponding story or lesson,
Mm-hmm.
whether good or bad,
Yeah.
whether trauma or not, right? And sometimes it's also nice to look at other people walking somewhere else. But oh, that's a nice flower you got there,
Mm-hmm.
right? Parang ayos yun ah.
Mm.
Ano ko yan? Diba? And wala, it's really that. I love the whole concept of that perspective. I love that, honestly, because you could be given something and you can choose how to take it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So parang sometimes somebody says something, and sometimes it will depend on how you hear it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, ties back to how you feel about your music, that you wrote it in a certain way, but then whoever's listening to it will use it as they see fit
Yeah,
in their own life and their situation.
yeah, and that's the beauty of of art in general,
Mm-hmm.
because it's so subjective.
Yeah.
You just look at a painting, some artists really just choose not to explain because you're just supposed to look at it, and it's not supposed to, you know, give you an answer. It's supposed to make you think.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to make you see how you want to see it,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're towards the end of that path that JK
North.
is talking about. And just to wrap this conversation up nicely with a bow,
With a nice ribbon.
yeah, with a nice ribbon, I did want to ask you, to anyone listening to this or watching this right now who's going through that sad phase in their life,
Mm-mm.
you have had your own tools on how to deal with low points, sad points, shitty points in your life. I guess what are things that have been useful for you that maybe they can do as well if they're in a similar place?
I'm not too far down that path yet where I want to give people advices and what tools to use, honestly.
Really?
Because I'm also going through it, but I feel like what I hold on to is there's nothing wrong with being sad. There's nothing wrong with walking down that path and picking up a colorless flower sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I feel like a lot of people are just so into that the whole thought of like, fuck, I'm sad. How do I get out of this rut? How do I get out of this? Like, not saying glorify it and enjoy it, but there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with not being okay. There's nothing wrong with feeling sad and feeling down and feeling gloomy and feeling dark. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you not human. It doesn't make you, alam mo yun, a bad person. It's part of it. It's part of life. It's part of the whole balance of things.
Mm-hmm.
Because if everyone was rich, then no one is. If everyone was happy, then no one is. And for you to be able to figure out happiness, then you need to be able to also figure out the opposite of that. And yung nga yung isa sa mga nasabi sa akin with this gym that I go, oh, gym.
Look at you.
Look at me. Wow. No, but like this gym. Super, shout out Awaken. Diyan sa may Metro 10.
Oh,
I
okay.
love these people kasi I love them. They're really nice, and Para ko sila mga nagiging kuya at magiging tito. And si Coach Julio and Coach Culver, ang dami nila doon. But Coach Julio said one time, kasi one time I went to the gym and I was feeling sad. I was feeling down. Like, lungkot ko ngayon, man. Sabi niya, bakit pre, nangyari? Ewan. Ay, ganito lang yan, pre. It's just the 3 ways of life. Either you're up here, you're down there, or you're in the middle. What do you mean? What does that mean? Yeah, sometimes there are days where you're happy. Sometimes there are days where you're sad. And sometimes there are days where you're just in the middle and you don't really know. And that's fine. Actually, keeping that cycle is healthy. Because, you feel. And sometimes, being in the middle and being just, I don't know what to feel today. That's fine as well. A lot of people get scared with the whole concept of feeling numb, right? And it's actually one of the songs in the album. Nag-plug, di ba? But the whole concept, manhid. Like, numb. It's also a feeling.
That's true.
So, that's really it. I don't know. I don't know what tools to use. Like, I'm also just figuring it out. But I feel like if I would say anything, it's just enjoy that path that you're walking. No matter what the weather is, no matter what things it is that you're seeing, no matter what things it is that you pick up every now and then, whether it's a flower or a nail, just enjoy it. Just enjoy the walking.
Yeah. And I absolutely enjoyed this conversation with you, JK. Maraming salamat for taking time out.
Of
Congratulations on everything. Your
Thank you.
whole part 1 of the EP is wonderful.
Thank you.
You're brilliant.
No.
I hope you know that. Both as an actor and a musician, and well, I don't know that tech startup side of you yet. But yeah, I mean, keep doing the great work that you do. Thank you for your time, and thanks for being on Paano Ba
Thank
To?
you, Miss Bianca. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for inviting me here.